Hello, everybody. Is it nearly time? Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Hope you all are able to hear me and see me well. What I wanted to do, first of all, is introduce myself for those who don't know me. So my name is Hazel Baker, and I am a London tour guide, and I run London Guided Walks, providing guided tours, private tours, virtual tours now, bespoke tours. We also have podcasts and blogs. Oh my goodness, so much stuff. Looking at the list of attendees today, it's lovely. It's about 50-50 names that I know and names that I don't. So lovely to not see you all this evening. Tonight we are all hopefully ready for a little bit of sparkle. So I've got my Christmas tree ready in the background, you can see. I've got my sparkly earrings on. This is a very different look than normal. Normally I'm wrapped up like a sausage roll on the streets of London. You're only actually sort of like able to see my face, but today's world, I suppose, means that we can open up the London streets of London for more people. So the first thing I want to know is where you are all from. So I've got my mobile phone here ready to waiting, so you can text or you can WhatsApp. And let us know where you're from. Now, don't be shy. The more you participate, the more bespoke and interactive it is. So, and I know half of you, so don't be shy. I know you're not shy, so don't be that bad. All right, so, and I will be able to say exactly what we're going to be doing today. So you've got me for an hour, you lucky, lucky people. And it's all about sparkle, looking at Christmas lights. Now, this is, I think, my 5th year and doing Christmas lights walk in London. I love going through London and looking at the lights and seeing how they're developing over the years. And the good thing about doing it virtually means that able to see more lights. We're not physically constrained like usual. So what I'm going to be doing is a virtual tour of 2 halves. So the first half is having a look at lights across London. I've been whizzing around with a face mask and a visor on, trying to be as safe as possible to take photos of the lights and videos. And then I will move into a virtual version of our physical tour, which means you will be able to retrace my footsteps. And at the end of the tour, I will ping you an email, and on that email there'll be a PDF. And in that PDF, there'll be the route that I took, so you can, you can do it yourself. So this, hopefully, it's a practical tour with a few added extras as well. So no one's texting me. I'm very disappointed. It's going to be like I'm just talking to myself. Oh dear. So so that's really basically what we're going to be doing. We have other virtual tours coming on with the new year as well, just to let you know. So the first one up in January will be street art in London. So once again, I do a street art tour in Shoreditch, but London's our oyster. So I'm going to be doing street art that is from Brixton, from the West End. I've taken the pictures, I've taken the videos. I just need to put it together and create it. So you're coming through now. I've done my teacher voice, and you're now coming through. Hello in Germany, near Cologne. So Köln is a beautiful, beautiful city. I love your cathedral there. So thank you very much, Vielen Danke, for joining us today. Willkommen. Oh, in Dorset. Hello, lovely to see you there. So that is our lovely coast. Oh, tuned in from Hammersmith. Well, you've got far, haven't you? And my friend Barbara is in Dorset. Ah, lovely. Thank you very much, Julie. And I miss seeing you, Julie, and all of our regulars. I'm a people person. So talking to a screen is really different than giving you all a big hug when I see you. Let's make the most of it. Just texting in to give my location to London Lights virtual tour. Yes, you are indeed. I think that was for someone else. Okay, so what I want to make sure that you do, however, now we know where you're from Germany, from Dorset, from London, Hammersmith in London. I know there's several of it. I can see you all logging in, so maybe you're all shy. But if you don't want to do that, maybe you will be able to do this. So if you have a question about today's tour, I've got some time at the end to answer all of your questions, but also to do a shout out. So if you are watching this tour with friends or family that you're not necessarily physically with, or you can be sitting next to them, send me a text, send me a WhatsApp, and I will do a shout out as we go as well, because this is a live tour. I can't do this normally, so let's make the most of the situation. All righty. So are we all ready? It's 6 minutes past 7. I don't want to talk too much. I want to get going on to the good stuff. So what I've done is I've created a video, which I will be pausing and interacting with to share with you. I'll be sharing my screen, which means you won't see me. You will hopefully be able to see all the sparkle instead. If you have a shout out questions or indeed a technical issue, then please do let me know. And if you do have a problem with the web page, no reason why you should, but technology is its own master, then press F5 or refresh, and because it's live, you're not losing anything. All right, so make sure you get those questions in and the shout outs. It'll be lovely to make this as vibrant as possible. All right, so I'm going to keep the little ticker at the bottom for you all, and I will share my screen with you. So the screen should go black. Here we go. Ta-da! Right, so that bit is a success. So let's get going. Don't panic, it's not over already. So this is our Christmas lights tour. Very warm welcome to all of you. I've put stars here because we're all here for a little bit of sparkle, aren't we? I mean, the important thing here is that we check out the streets of London in as much sparkle as we possibly can. And of course, I do miss you all. I want to be there with you and seeing you and hearing how you're all doing. I miss you very, very much. But this is the best way that we can do it for now. And it also means that we get to see more sparkle. So I'm up for that if you are. All right, so here we are. First so we are going for the theme of pink, and here we are in Chelsea. This is the former studio for the artist Turner. So he would go out and look at the ships or the River Thames or whatever he was doing, and then he would remember all of that. and then come back to his studio to do the painting. A little bit different than what we see or expect now. Anyway, so I love the idea that the doors of this, it's a lovely pink, isn't it? Even if you don't like pink, I think that you have to like this one. It's not a dweeby pink, it's very bold. Also, I like the wreaths. You know, we're talking about Christmas now, and these wreaths matching, of course, but also, you know, they're just absolutely full, nice and heavy wreaths. So this is just a little warm up until we get to the sparkle. So pink doors, great stuff. What else have we got? Not Chelsea, but Belgravia. So let me go back. Sorry, everybody. This is a little bit of the size. So we've been to Chelsea. This is Belgravia. This is Peggy Portion, a lovely little bakery that we have in Belgravia. I know them from doing a cake decorating course, actually. Not there, but one of the ladies who works there was doing some private ones. So they spend an absolute fortune each year doing the decorating outside the bakery. And this is something that you've seen with this theme of pink. It's the year of the influencer. We've all got mobile phones in our pockets. We've usually got great cameras, and so in order to get more publicity, you want people to come to your shop, stand where the nutcrackers are and the gingerbread, take a photo, post it to their thousands of followers, and that's exactly what they're doing. So this one is lovely, nice little pink nutcrackers with some LED lights, and the little gingerbread men as well. Fake flowers, but they do look nice. And also with Peggy Portion, they don't leave the decorations up for too long. So, you know, with all the pollution and that from the roads, you want it looking nice and bright. So I assume they will have a New Year one coming up as well. So let's have a look what else we've got. So we've had Chelsea, we've had Belgravia. This is St Pancras International Station. This is a really amazing station. Anyway, it's usually cold, but what you can see is an EL and N Wonderland Christmas tree. So they have it's a bakery yet again. So I think I'm in the wrong line of business. My surname's Baker, so I really should have just listened to the name I was given with. But their signature is the carousel. And so they've incorporated their signature using an East London architect to create this magnificent indoor Christmas tree. And look, they're doing little mini cakes of it as well. So 10% of the money that they take if you buy a little pink Christmas tree in their 9 shops. They've got a brand new one opened in Carnaby Street. I was there at the weekend on Saturday, but they also have one, Kel Surprise, in King's Cross. They've got one on Park Lane, so you can see the kinds of areas that they're going for. So yeah, I didn't buy one of these though. I went for my hot chocolate, my Nutella hot chocolate. Doesn't that sound lovely? So what they have done here is they've obviously tried to integrate the upper and the lower floor together by doing something absolutely humongous. And they have used 1,200 ribbons. And these ribbons have actually got messages from the staff, from frontline workers and NHS. And what they've done there is written messages of hope. These are the people that are steering them away, keeping us safe. And if they have hope, then we all do. And so I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with these banners afterwards. It would be good if they are kept for prosperity. It's a very unique time. And of course, the title of the tree is called the Tree of Hope. So as I don't know if anybody's actually been to see this one, because of course the stations aren't very well see at the moment. All right, well, how about this one? All right, so this is the Tate Britain. If you haven't been here, then you should do. It's a really good gallery. anyway. But of course, with Diwali, they every year for the last 4 years, they have put on a light display. And so this is no different to that. So what you can see here, it does look like someone has gone a little bit crazy with pink neon lights, but that's kind of part of the point. This is about entitled, as you can see at the top, Remembering a Brave New World. And this is done by an artist from Liverpool, Chilia Kumari Singh Burman. And she wanted to share her memories of her childhood, and that included her parents' ice cream van. So I get the pink now, and also the family trips to Blackpool Illuminations. And I'm coming from the Midlands. Blackpool was a very easy place to get to experience the same thing there. So I do love this one from a distance. I think you get to see everything. You get to see the different shapes. You can see the columns with all the Hindu, all the different gods there. You've got the eye looking over us. It gives us hope. And in particular countries, you know, Thailand and India, pink is a very lucky color. This kind of pink. In Thailand, all the taxis are pink, and their buses. So this is generating a lovely warmth and really brings I think the detail of the building into, you can see it a little bit more, I suppose. And the lovely details of the tiger, for example. But part of the problem is that when you get up close, like this, you can't really see what it is. So that's why I think I prefer it a little bit further out. But I love that you've got the combinations of the yellows, the red, the oranges, and the pinks. You think if you were describing it, it'd sound absolutely awful. And of course, this is part of the Festival of Lights. Lots of different religions are sort of now kicking in with like Hanukkah and all the rest of it. So this will be up. This will be up for another couple of weeks. The 31st of January is when it's going down. And then here we have Mayfair. Here we are. So this is Annabelle's. Annabelle's is a private members club. They won't tell me how much it costs, but when you look at the people that go in, you know, well, I know that I'm just not one of them. But what you can see in the first level of the windows, you can see two ballerinas, and they're actually films. So I couldn't take a decent film about this without losing the impact of the color, but they're the ballet dancers actually dancing together and using the windows display there. Once again, they've got the pink projection you see on the stucco on the ground floor, and you might kind of miss the huge nutcrackers, 3 of them, but I really love the baubles. This entranceway I think is very, very tastefully done, and usually they go for a red or green theme because they are the colors that the doorman, you can see he's got his matching mask, and they're the colors that the doorman usually wear. And I think it's all set up for as you know, I've put on the little theatre curtains as a theatre for stage. They usually have a Christmas market, but this year they've done it all online. So if you really, really want to, you can buy an Annabelle's bauble for £20, or you can buy a pair of 4 napkin rings for 260. Sounds like an absolute bargain to me. Not. But it's a beautiful building on Berkeley Square in Mayfair. Here we go, a little bit closer up. You see now the size of these nutcrackers, absolutely huge. And this is what they were like last year. So you can see the green and the red again, and the doorman in the red. And then the year before, it was a white and green Christmas tree like this as well. So how about that? And this is outside the Ivy in Chelsea. So you may notice that there are several ivies now that are sort of popped up. You can't. Ivy's a weed, and they're now developing lots of little mini ivy spin-offs around franchises. And the Chelsea one, I think, has been the most exquisite in terms of Christmas decorations. The London Bridge one is nice because they've got a little bit of space. The Covent Garden one, I think, is a little bit disappointing, but they don't have that sort of space to do very much. And also the one on Berwick Street in Soho, they did the same last year, but it's all pastel baubles, but Christmas trees made out of baubles, which are quite pretty actually. But I do like how you can actually interact with this one. You can get on the sleigh. There's a little place where you can stand, and of course, once again, it's a beautiful building, but they want you to take photos of it. They want you to post it on social media and get their name out there. So creating a bit of a destination. So multicolored. So we've seen the pink running through, but now we're getting the old-fashioned, I would say, the 1980s multicolored tree lights. So how about these? So this is Paddington Basin. If you haven't been to Paddington Basin for the last couple of years, then I think you do need to go, because they've spent an absolute fortune updating the area, making nice wide paths, and there's lots of CCTV and also the security guards. So it's a nice place to walk around the canal, whereas before it was sometimes a little bit dodgy. But fantastic Christmas tree, I think. I love how that when someone uses lights to actually create the shape of the Christmas tree. And sometimes they look a little bit lost, but I think this one's done rather nicely, even though it's got a few spots in it. And how about this? This is Wembley. So if you're walking from Wembley Station up to the stadium, then this is it. And this is a cone, and they've used different lights, as you can see, on the cone to create the Christmas tree with a huge star on top. And it was so bright, I couldn't work out how or what it actually was up there. And then they've decorated the as you can see, the avenue of trees and the lights on the buildings as well. So it makes you want to walk down. It makes you feel excited, but also very safe. And that's what they're wanting more than anything. They want you to enjoy and maybe, buy a copy or a mulled wine from one of the stalls on the way as well. And then this is Canary Wharf. So every year for the past couple of years, they've been doing a lights festival, and these are on now, absolutely free, and they're on even at 3 a.m. So if you can't sleep and you want to do something a little bit different, then this is what you can do. So don't forget, Canary Wharf is a private land. They do have their own police unit and their own snipers, actually, but you can walk around here. So if you come out of the station, the main exit, take a left and then a left again, you will start coming into the lights. And the first one you will see is this. Isn't this lovely? So this is their usual fountain, but then they've added these lights in it as well. So you might have been there for Diwali, and they had floating flowers and candles and that sort of thing. So this is what they did last year actually for the Light Festival. But you know what? I still think it's lovely. But going with that multicolored theme. All right, so warm lighting. So this is the yellowy lights that we get to see. Some people think they can be quite boring, but I've got a few examples to show that that isn't true. How about this, eh? What you're looking at is a tree, a pub with about 47 Christmas trees on it, and they are all decorated with lights. A pub's called the Churchill Arms because Churchill's grandparents used to drink there quite regularly. It's a Fuller's pub, and they have a Thai restaurant upstairs, the first Thai restaurant in a pub to be opened in London. They say it's in Kensington, but it's very close to Notting Hill Gate tube station. It's on Kensington Church Lane. so right between the two really. And they have won the Chelsea Flower Show before, because they do some lovely flower decorations on that over the summer. So I'm not quite sure if I like it, but it's certainly a memorable one and very, very unique. Not quite sure how much it would cost to light that. And how about this? I like this one. This is, I'll say, a Christmas tree shape, don't you think? With the triangle and the spheres and the rings. I think this is a very tastefully done. And this, they're all around Victoria. So I think they're rather nice. And this is where I live, Greenwich. So I got a little bit worried that the Cutty Sark, which is the world's only remaining tea clipper, Victorian tea clipper, they weren't going to do it, but they were just a little bit late in the year. And if you can see the mast furthest away from us, they've actually added lights in to create the Christmas tree shape. And then they've put a very bright star on the top. And I think it's lovely using that white, that warm white goes with the warm white lights in the area below. And they've got a Christmas tree outside as well, bringing it all in. As there's quite a few food pop-up stalls around here, especially at the weekend. And get a bit closer for you and see if we can get that star on the top. It was a shame because the star's sort of so bright again. I couldn't really see how they did it. So this here is a Duke of York square, and I do enjoy installations where I can interact with and walking through. So this one's in the day, obviously, but I wanted to show you the scale of it rather than just twinkly lights. So this is, once again, where I'm coming from is Duke of York Square. So if you have the thoroughfare, how do you know that there is a square with shops through an alleyway? You don't. But if you make it look appealing, then people will feel a lot more confident in walking through, even if they don't know the area. So they had two of these, one in and one out. So I kind of like them. So we're going to the City of London now. This is Leadenhall Market, built in the 1880s. So Horace Jones was the architect, the same architect as Smithfield Market and also Tower Bridge. He's the same chap because he was the City of London architect. He got the big jobs. What you can see are lots of little Christmas trees at the top. And then the main one in the centre. I love this place. This is on a Sunday night. I went and I was very, very lucky to be able to take a shot without a single person in it. So this is what it's looking for lockdown. So still very quiet compared to what it is normally. But Leadenhall Market was a market, well, it was the forum in Roman times. So the Romans founded London in 54 AD. And then there's been a market here ever since. Isn't that glorious? So Transformers has been filmed in here, as well as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, when Harry goes to Diagon Alley for the very first time with Hagrid. So nice, tasteful decorations, I think, using the architecture well. How about this then, eh? I think this is, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, I posted this and people are going crazy for it. I think this is the most beautiful lit up tree outdoors in London. If you have somewhere else that's your favourite, then text me, WhatsApp me, let me know and prove me wrong. I do love it from a distance, but when you get close up, you realise that, like the Wembley one, this is a cone and the foliage is fake. So there isn't even a fake trunk. It's just a big cone with rings. But I do like the, I think it's beautiful. And especially against the neoclassical design of St. Paul's in the background. You don't need a fancy tree when you've got such wondrous architecture as a backdrop, really. Last year's was blue white, and the year before was blue white, but they had stars made out of lights, and it was rather nice. So they've done something different this time. And then the yellow gold as well in Hayes Galleria. So Hayes Galleria is on the south side of the River Thames, just by London Bridge Station. And can you see the roof, how it's curved? Well, this gives you an idea of what it used to be. And it used to be where the ships would come in to where the underneath the roof didn't used to be there, all open, and it was a wharf. So the ships would come in where the tree is now, basically, and then they would unpack everything from the ships very, very quickly. And they'd be able to do it quickly because the warehouses, the buildings on the left and the right, were where the goods were going to be stored. And this, in Victorian times, was called London's larder. So 85% of imports from London into London from ships was received here at Hayes Galleria, which I think is really quite phenomenal. And I do like how they've done it with the yellow, warm, and using the columns as well to draw your eye down, even though it's very quiet compared to other years, but that's understandable. Here's a little bit of a closer view of it. So it's very fashionable now. Can you see, once again, they've got a star and that's illuminated. So a lot of the years they haven't bothered with anything on the top. It kind of looks like missing, but obviously the technology is there now. And then if you move a little bit further from Hayes Galleria downriver, then this is what you get. So usually there's a Christmas market here. Not this year. You can see Tower of London on the left and Tower Bridge in the background. You've already seen Horace Jones's Leadenhall Market. But they have put these light installations on. I think they're rather beautiful. And this is it when it's lit up. I like the little touches of the red and the blue. But strange to have a fox being blue. I was expecting it to be orange when it turned on. But, I think they're nice. All righty, so we're coming on to the main event. It's past now. So we have lots to show you. So I'm going to start off in one of the most well-known places that we have in London, and that is Trafalgar Square. But I'm taking you back to 1952 start. You've got to start somewhere, and this is to remind everyone what we had. Not only did we have a Christmas tree up there with an illuminated star, you see that, which is still a new thing now, but look at all of that smog. So we had much worse quality of air back then, but this tree is a gift. And we have been having this gift from the end of the Second World War. And here we are in modern day. We still got a tree, and it's from the Norwegians. So the people of Norway send us the Queen of Norway. That's what they title the tree. And then it's decorated Norwegian style now, which is this vertical light alignment. And they send us this for as a thank you for our help and assistance during World War II. And then in the background, you've got the National Gallery and the National Portrait Gallery. And this square used to be the mews, where you keep the falcons and the horses for Whitehall Palace, which would be to the left and down what the street is, what is now called Whitehall. So if we veer right, South African Embassy, and then we are on the Strand. So maybe you know the song, "Let's all go down the Strand." Well, this is where the street gets its name from, or the other way around. So the Strand is a parallel to the River Thames. Very important street connecting the City of London to the City of Westminster. And what they've done is, you might be able to see in that bauble, if I just pause it, you can see in the central bauble, there's the word North Bank. They've created it all one because that's a nice hashtag to have. And what they're doing is they're trying to emulate the success of the South Bank. South Bank has been very popular for many years thanks to the Festival of Britain in the 1950s, and they're trying to make this a destination now. Trouble is, they opened up a lot of shops down here and they've just closed. They're the wrong types of shops, Top Shop and that kind of thing. The youngsters just don't come down here to spend their cash. They want to go to a nice mall where it's all clean, dry, and where you can get a Starbucks. At Adelphi Theatre, you've got also the Savoy, two beautiful theatres as well. So if we come off the Strand, up Bedford Street and take a right, this is Henrietta Street. And I do love the simplicity of this. I think it's a very nice, effective way of showing the architecture of the street, but also making you want to walk down and investigate what's further. The most fashionable resident here, would be Jane Austen. She visited her brother John, who had a house at number 10 on this street. And parallel to this run, this street, Henrietta Street, is King Street. And they've done the same there with the lights, which is nice because it's Henrietta Maria with her husband Charles I, which is King Street. So even joined together in Christmas lights. So hopefully we like this one. Just done it a little bit slowly so you can get to know the detail. Ivy's just coming up on the left as well for Covent Garden with all that flame. And then we're taking our time into Covent Garden Piazza. So hopefully you've all been here at some time. It's well, I lived in Covent Garden for over 5 years, so I do enjoy it. I love the cobblestones, and you can see social distancing isn't exactly being practiced at the moment, but each to their own. The Christmas tree in itself, I do love, once again, because it is a full Christmas tree. They haven't just relied on lights, however, they do have some big silver baubles on there as well. And they say that this is the largest tree in London. But saying that, the Queen of Norway is tall, but it's not wide. So how they're measuring large is unknown. You see the church here on the left. This is called St. Paul's Church, not cathedral. And this is the only bit of the original Covent Garden that we get to see. This is done by architect Inigo Jones. Inigo Jones brought neoclassical architecture to the country. He did the Queen's House in Greenwich. He did the Banqueting House on Whitehall. Big name if you like your architecture. So I like the extra sparkle that they've got on here. This is another trick to sort of make it glisten. You can also have a Santa grotto at the bottom, but they've not done that for a few years. I think it's just a little bit too much hassle for them managing it. Okay, so this is inside Covent Garden Market. This is a Georgian market with a Victorian glass roof. Look at the size of those lamps. And then here we have a beautiful art installation. They weren't going to have this this year. They were going to rent it out and get a new one. But of course, why break something that, well, try and fix it if it's not broken. This is called Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. And it's by production designer Michael Howells. Now, you might not know his name, but you might know his work. He was the production designer for Nanny McPhee, the film, but also he did the production designer for ITV's Victoria, where they copied Buckingham Palace in an air hangar in Norfolk. And there are 40 mistletoe chandeliers here. Between 2.5 and 3.5 meters in size. And I like how you've got the big silver baubles, but also the disco balls as well, to once again add a little bit of movement and excitement to it. And there are 320 garlands around, because we have different parts of Covent Garden. And those garlands, and I'll show you those in a bit, they've been using 100,000 P lights. So that's a lot of bulbs to check. I wonder if they're using parallel or series circuits. So normally you get your performing artists. I chose a bit while they were having a bit of a break, just to get the idea. And also there, where you can actually spend £1 to go to the toilet. So spending a penny is no longer more. So these Christmas trees are decorated by businesses that are in Covent Garden, trying to bring a little bit of community together. And if you have a little look up, Lego Christmas tree, why not? Here we go. So these are the kind of garlands that I'm talking about. And they're absolutely huge. When you put them into perspective, just looking at it from a distance, don't really think of anything of it because the building's so big in itself. I do like the red roses on a tree. That's a little bit different. And that's from the toy shop in Covent Garden. All right, and then Lego for a few years has actually been working with Covent Garden to create some sort of experience. This time they've done a pop-up. Tickets are absolutely free, but you do have to book in advance because of social distancing. And this is where you can actually walk through several pieces of huge Lego and get photos without having to queue to get people out of the way, like I had to wait a little bit long. Not quite sure why Santa is so small. So this is the pop-up here. Lots of different things for you to see, including a princess who actually kills her own dragon. I think I prefer the idea of Cello's idea of taming it. Here we got the bowler hat. I think he looks rather dapper. I mean, when was the last time you saw someone in a bowler hat in London? And then this dinosaur, very impressive. It was actually taller than me, and I'm 5'7". And did you know that in the UK we've only got Lego has only got one full-time maker, creator of these things. So I bet he's busy. All right, so this is James Street. We're going up James Street to basically past Covent Garden Tube Station. Normally ram-packed, if you know the area. I normally wouldn't be able to stand here because of the performing artists. So the Nag's Head, lovely pub. As you can see, these that you can actually sit in the booth and that little bit here on the Torello. The Nag's Head originally, the first version opened in 1690. And then there's one on the other side as well, a White Lion, there you go. So whether it's the summer and they kick them out in lights or in flowers, or in the winter with the lights. And then this is Floral Street. So I'm standing on the same spot, just looking at different angles, and simple yellow lights that stream down, but it doesn't make you feel like you actually want to walk down there. And they've made it pedestrianised at the moment as well, which is not usually the case. Usually you get Uber drivers going the wrong way down the street. But if we carry on up James Street, you go across Longacre, and you get to see the illuminated living wall. We've got several of these that have popped up over London. Help with the oxygen generation. You come to Seven Dials. So this is an area that's very fashionable with especially young professionals. The lights, normally they go full out. I think they're not necessarily on steroids this time, but I do like the combination of the red and the green and the yellow. The symbol of the deer with the arrow is actually the symbol, the brand of Seven Dials. So this is bespoke to the area. No one else will be having this. And so you can around and have a little look at the different places, and they've got little alleyways for you to sort of connect with. You don't have to go into the Seven Dials area and see that there. And what this is above Holland and Barrett, I don't know if any of you noticed before, this isn't a Christmas lights, but I wanted to show it you because I have a no tour that goes past here. But this is a water clock. So this is on Shorts Gardens, and in 1974, when Covent Garden finally moved to Nine Elms, where it is now, they needed to reinvent the area. And so Michael Loftus in 1982 commissioned this water clock to o'clock to attract people to his shop, which was on this spot. And he was selling whole foods, and it was also a dairy and apothecary. And it's not working anymore. But has anybody ever seen that when you've been around in Covent Garden? Most probably not. And I think it's because it's quite high up, and it's dark green as well. And of course, if it's not working, then there's nothing really to see. So down Cucumber Alley. Love the name of that. As I said, lots of little areas. There's a pop-up there for the most fashionable food that's going. But I walked through, but I didn't take a video because so many people in there, and they were all queuing. So it wasn't the most inspiring image. So I've walked through Cucumber Alley, and you can see all these different shops, including Neil's Dairy. Very, very, very nice. And we're going to walk down here to Neil's Yard. It says formerly King's Head Court. Whenever you see something like that, King's Head, of course it's a pub. Don't have as many pubs as we used to. And this is Neil's Yard. So if you've been here at all, you might have been there in the day. Many people forget about it in the evening, but they've got several restaurants. If you are particularly health conscious, or you're wanting vegetarian or vegan food or organic, then, and you're in the area, then come here. Lots of sitting outside, nice colours on the windows. So you need very plain lights. But they never used to light it up, so that's a nice change there. And this wasn't discovered until the mid 1980s. Before that, it was sort of a derelict yard, very similar to Ham Yard, just off Shaftesbury Avenue. That's only just come on the last couple of years, really. So it's a good place to explore, just absolutely packed in the day, especially in the summer, because people gravitate to the colours like we're gravitating to the light. And then this, so let me go back to that one. Let me do that one again. So the street art that you can see, I'm following that guy on the bike, and it gets to Monmouth Street. But as you go through to Monmouth Street, you come through it in an alleyway, and it's a covered alleyway. And this is it. This is a street art by the name, it's artist by the name of Bambi, and it's a she. And you can see that first looks, you think that it's Mary Poppins, but when you look at her face, you can see that it is Princess Diana. With incredibly high heels. Don't think she ever wore something like that. And then you look at the two children, and of course they are Princes William and Harry. Love the political twist with the Harrods bag, the sort of twist on the commercialization, but also a Harrod homage Ali. And then on the right hand side, can you see in the pink, you say you can be as naughty as you want, just don't get caught. And that is something that Princess Diana told Prince William. And he's said that in a very public interview, and so it's sort of captured her imagination. And Bambi does, it's nearly like Banksy, but there is, I suppose, a more level of humanity into this. It's all about the people. She does another one that's on Revington Street in Shoreditch, where there's a boy and he's waving at you, and he's got his foot on a football, but when you look at the football, it's actually a skull. And on his t-shirt, there's a little tick for Nike, and their strap line is "Just do it." But his t-shirt it says "Don't do it." So it's those kind of things. You see one thing, and then you actually have to look at it to get the full meaning. So we're on Monmouth Street. Nice Hotel Chocolat restaurant here. Proper restaurant, not just a shop. And also Mon Plaisir, which is a very nice French restaurant. And then here we are. These are the 7 Dials. Can you see those blue faces? And that's where the area gets its name. So in the 1690s, a member of Parliament by the name of Thomas Neal, he redeveloped this area, and he wanted a maximum amount of money coming in. And so he created, can you see the buildings are actually little wedges, like little wedges from the wedges of cheese. And what they used to do was that they rented out the buildings based on the amount of windows and space you had, rather than floor space like we have now. So that's why if you get that double frontage, then you can charge more. It wasn't a very good financial success, and they launched itself in 1989, where Princess Beatrice of the Netherlands came and reopened it all. But it's a nice area to explore. Nice Georgian frontages, as you can see from the shops on the right-hand side there. And then this here is a brand new area developed by the Mercers Company, which is the top guild in the City of London. The ceiling is permanent, but you can see the gold Christmas trees. These are the gold bits, and you'll see something very similar a little bit later on. So not my favourite, those ones, the gold and then the blue. But this is the open space, wanting to create a space for the shops and the shoppers and eat outs. And I like how they've integrated light within the buildings, you know. And then you've seen these lights before on Floral Street, and this is all the same area. And that's where we're going to be walking to now. Nice and simple, but guide your eye. Now look at this. You won't believe how many times I had to come back and try and wait for no one to be there. So I've walked through and turned around to look back down where we've just come from to take this shot. There we are. But talking about things that you interact with, I mean, the kids are having a great time. Everybody has a great... If you've got an Instagram account, then this is where you come. So many people taking photos and that. So getting in the way. But never mind. And it changes colour. Blue, white and pink. And I just wanted to pause on this lady here. Can you see her face illuminated with joy? And this is the face that I miss seeing on my tours with you guys. I just thought it was great to encapsulate that on here. Light bringing happiness, bringing friends together like now, taking photos. This is all part of Peterson Nursery, owned by the Prince of Wales. Makes sense to use flowers, a nursery for plant nursery, not a children's nursery, to do their Christmas decorations. Still very tasteful. And their wreaths, huge. And then this is Floral Street, but from the other end. So when I was doing the pub, the Nag's Head, and that's the other end of that. And we're now in basically just off Leicester Square, and there's some brand new statues coming along. So this is Wonder Woman. So the Empire Theatre, now a cinema. Lots going on in Leicester Square because, of course, it's an open space. Once owned by the Earl of Leicester, who had a big house on the left-hand side where that cinema is. Leicester Square redeveloped in 2012. And look at these lights. They're like, I suppose, a bit like icicles. In the middle, you'll be able to see a statue of Shakespeare, the only outdoor statue that we have of him, and also another statue sitting on a bench, and that is Mr. Bean. So closed in the evenings, usually a Christmas market here, but of course not this year. And then looking to the right, there's someone that you might be able to be familiar with. Here he is, Harry Potter. So Harry Potter has had all of Warner Brothers have had all 8 of their world premieres of the films at the Theatre, the Odeon, behind you or behind him. And they, for the first 7, they had their opening in the square, but the final one they had to have it in Trafalgar Square because it was Leicester Square was having a facelift. So a lot of the buildings, can you see, have started lighting themselves up as well. So this isn't just Christmas lights. This is making things very exciting. We've got the W Hotel on the right, how psychedelic that is there. And then straight ahead of you, you actually have Coventry Street and Piccadilly Circus. All right, so let's see. So we've got Mary Poppins here. So lots of new statues to accompany the Charlie Chaplin one we've had for a while now. And there's Gene Kelly. So if you know where we are now, this is Haymarket Theatre. And if you walk past there, you get to see this, which is the Royal Opera Arcade. A lot of people don't even know this arcade exists, mainly because it's not really a destination, but it does look pretty. Shops on the right, and then windows for them to display their products or artwork on the left. So this is Waterloo Place at the very, very bottom of Lower Regent Street. So I like here how they've incorporated normal baubles, these copper ones, but then with illuminated baubles as well. Very popular having a black cab tour, so it was a bit congested with black taxis. And once again, why a blue light at the top of the tree? It just kind of misses something, I think. But I still think it's rather nice with the copper, adds a nice warmth. And if you walk past the tree, then this is Lower Regent Street, yet to see. They have undergone a £500 million renovation, this area. So these angels are all part of the development of the area. It's called the Spirit of Christmas, done by a designer called Paul Dart. That's Piccadilly Circus there that you can see. And he's used aluminum sheeting, and then the skirts, these tails and the wings have been welded on, and then they've been spray painted. And then the bulbs added on by that, and different angels for different types of streets to sort of match the street style. Ta-da! So new area, brand new, small lights. So Regent Street was the first street to have Christmas lights ever in the 1950s, and then they went to all commercial, if you remember, a couple of years ago, and then there was a bit of a backlash of it being too commercial, and so the Crown Estate, who manage all of this, they've taken it back and tried to redefine that area, really. See how windy it is with the flags blowing. And if you walk down Jermyn Street, this is a street that's dedicated mainly for men's fashion. So this is St. James's Church. It says Christopher Wren Church. And it's on Jermyn Street. So as you're walking down, you'll get to see this. And they usually have a really great carol concert and celebrities doing lights turning on and all the rest of it, but not this year. Yeah, so Harvey and Hudson, another example of one of the men's shops that we've got here. Excuse me. And continuing down Jermyn Street, you see the back of Fortnum and Mason. So if we just look round from where we are there, we get these arcades. So this is the Prince's Arcade, originally opened in 1880, but then opened again in 1913. You recognise that style of pillared decoration? And then here we have Fortnum and Mason using its very own windows to create doors and an advent calendar. So you can see the date that I went and took the photo of this on the 4th. That was the one that was illuminated, but that'll go all the way up to the 24th, every day illuminated. So you can go and see it every day to see something a little bit different. And Fortnum and Mason is a very interesting shop. It's changed a lot in the 20 years that I have been in. It used to be just a greengrocer's, starting in 1707, but they've developed now. You can have afternoon tea there and that. Fantastic Florentines, really good Scotch eggs, which they also invented in 1738. And they sell some very, very nice tea in particular. So if you want to know more about Fortnum and Masons, my latest podcast is only 20 minutes, and I tell you about Fortnum and Masons at Christmas time, and also Berry Brothers and Rudd. That's on John James's. All right. I'm just concerned with time. So Burlington Arcade, a beautiful place to visit. This is what it looks like in the summer. And here we have the Royal Arcade. I like this one because of the understated elegance of the actual arcade in itself, with the oranges, the whites, and then the detailing of the garlands as well. So you don't need too much when you've got a beautiful building. And that means that if we turn round, we end up on Old Bond Street. Oh, turn around. Here we go. So they've used a peacock theme for several years now, but I think it's very effective, fills the space. You see nice wide pavements. They're wide because they wanted people, when it was designed, to actually walk down. Stella McCartney normally fills this building with lights, and she's only done the bottom level, so that kind of gives you an idea of how people are feeling and feeling the pinch even in Mayfair. And then it goes a little bit crazy here in the terms of the different brands and what they're trying to achieve. But the nice thing is, with the open pavements, you can actually take your time and have a look at all the different lights in your own time without feeling that you kind of get in the way. So Boodles, Tiffany here, and they've been doing their illuminated triangles throughout, I know, New York, thanks to Instagram, and also in their several different shops in London. And then you can see David Morris, more focusing on the day for their clientele, because they're not open in the evening. Why would you be? And then you can see Boodles and Cartier, I think, competing for attention next to each other. So if I walk across the way, you'll get to see more of it in detail. And then in New Bond Street, we have Dior and Chanel. This is Dior's. Not very crispy in particular, but I do like, can you see how it's projected onto the wall? So they're using the canvas of their building to do something. And it's a different one, a projection that they had last year. This is called Lancaster Place. You can walk through here very easily this year. Normally there are restaurants who have people sitting outside with their heat lamps and all the rest of it, and it's very uncomfortable to walk through. You feel like you shouldn't be there. But I reclaimed the streets in order to do the tour. So it's nice and pretty. And you walk through there and you get then, surprisingly, to Hush, which is a nice place for drinks and food. You can even take your little dog if you have one. And can you believe you go through that little alleyway and then it opens up into this. And then across the road from there, which is Brook Street, still in Mayfair, you come to South Molton Street. These are brand new for 2020, these blue trees, one on either end of the street. And then if we look down South Molton Street, ta-da! Beautiful, beautiful blue arches. And these are a particular favourite of mine because you can actually, once again, walk through. But there's little alleyways off South Molton Street with street art. There's lots of little shops. This is where I get my secondhand ball gowns from, and that kind of thing. So it's a very useful street. And then with these lights in particular, look at the faces of this family spending time together. They bring joy. And I love the energy from the blue lights as well. They're not a cold blue. And then we've got Camille Walhalla, another female street artist, and she'd been commissioned to do the benches and the bins around in the area as well. So you can't help but smile walking through these. They're so impressive. And here we go, Oxford Street. So not my favourite lights for this year. I did like the globes that they had, especially with the street that's so well lit that these lights, even though they're very bright and they're very big, kind of get lost. I'm not quite sure what you think about that. It's clever that they've got the messages and all the rest of it, but it kind of, it's not easy to read when you're out and about. You've got so many people walking around, all the big buses. It just kind of, I'd rather have something simple and beautiful. So that is Regent Street, Upper Regent Street, if you were going to go to the BBC building. And this is Regent Street, the famous one. So you can see how wide these streets are. And these are the biggest angels that we have in London. So it's a little still of it. And then we come down to Liberty. So Liberty, amazing shop, actually made out of 2 ships, Victorian warships. But usually they go full out for their Christmas decorations. This time they've only got 12 illuminated Christmas trees on the front, so they've toned it down this year. But a beautiful building anyway, and they're doing a lot of restoration work at the moment. So maybe that's part of it. And then if you walked around the side of Liberty, you will come to Carnaby Street. Doo, 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 doo. There we go. So this is using the same setup as a couple of years ago, even though the colours then were red, white and black. This time it's blue, the purpley and the pinky colours, and it's all about choosing love. And this is a charity that supports refugees. So Carnaby are giving back because they went the whole too corporate end, if you remember, a couple of years ago for money. And so they are trying to reclaim their soul, I think. Not as impressive as last year's, which was the under the water scene, but nonetheless, it still fills the space. And also it is for a good cause. And lots of side streets on Carnaby Street as well. And they've used this pinky purple. Don't forget that positive energy and that kind of colour. Connects the area together. It also makes you feel safe walking down the little side streets. You might not know what's down there, but you know something's down there because you can see the purple and pink light. And just around the corner on Ganton Street, you should be able to see some huge light bulbs. Here they are. You might remember these from about 5 years ago. These were the main lights on Carnaby Street. There's actually 51 of them on this street. Yes, I have counted. And then what I do love about this area is that you can see with the lights, the businesses are being used in the Georgian buildings built in the 1820s. They're still in use for the purpose that they were originally built in. And I love that about this area. I bet that's the biggest 3-prong plug you've ever seen. So this is the other side of Ganton Street, that pink and purple again. And then there's some art that is fixed. It's permanent. It's not just for Christmas. So this was put up in 2015. I think it's called Walking Shiner. And then the artwork that you can see just above it on the right, this is the Spirit of Soho mural, which is about the famous people and notables who lived and worked in Soho. So if you have a look at that, if you've done my Soho Ho treasure hunt, you'll be very familiar with this one. But you've got Casanova in the red, you've got Mozart in the yellow, you've got so many big names that have made Soho then their home for one way or another. So I've got a Bloated blog post about Newton, actually, who is also on there. And then this is just on the other side of the mural, connecting us to Regent Street. As I said, the largest angels. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I love the composition between the yellow, warm, and the cold blue-white light. Very uplifting, which is something that we need for 2020. So that was all that remains for me, sister. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed it, Barbara. Oh, you're going on a choir Zoom. I don't blame you. I hope you have an enjoyable time there. If anybody has any questions or shout outs, then this is the time to do it, including. Can you give a shout out to my beautiful girlfriend Nicola? You are the love of my life. From P1. Girlfriend, love you for life. Come on. If you like it, better put a ring on it. All right. You're not going to thank me for saying that one. Right. Okay. So who else? Just think. We've got messages from Love the Tiger. Yes, Barbara. I'm Julie. Sorry, I love the tiger. It's got that nice movement. You can actually see that it's not running. It's really like creeping at you. But being completely neon, you wouldn't miss it. So I like the juxtaposition there. Anybody got any favorite lights that you want to share with me? Then please do let me know. Clayton, you've been a little bit quiet today. Just having a little look. Oh, brilliant tour. Thanks so much. You are very, very welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me swap over. There I am. Hello, I'm still here. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, there's so many lights to cover. On a physical tour, we see less, but we get to more into the detail. But I wanted to share a little bit more with what's going on. Might as well. So I can see in Germany, you're texting me. So I will wait on that. Anybody else want to send me any messages as well? Thank you, Hazel. It was fabulous. Julie, you're very, very welcome. Hope to see you in 2021. Oh, here we go. Thank you for taking us through Christmassy London, bringing back memories of my trip back in 2018. You are very, very welcome. As I said, it's a really weird year, making the most of it. London's entering lockdown yet again on Wednesday evening. January, we'll be doing a virtual street art tour. It would be lovely to see you or not see you, if you know what I mean. And then we'll take it from there. I'll probably be doing another one in February and March. But don't forget, we got our podcast episodes 20 minutes and it's absolutely free. I'll send you the link on that, and I will send you the PDF if you do want to go and retrace my steps and get to see the sparkle in real life. I've tried to use the best angles for the photos, so you'll be able to copy me on there. But otherwise, and the only other thing for me to say is thank you so much for joining me today. I can see that you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having you here. It gives me a sense of purpose and also enables me to feed my addiction, which is sharing my love of London with you. So have a fantastic Christmas, and I wish you all a very happy and healthy 2021. Bye.